guys, Stitching May here to do my weekly update video. It's Thursday, so I'm here in exactly a week. Again, Thursday seems to be the best day for me as far as family goes. Although this week it's kind of different because Connor's out Thursday, Friday, of course the weekend, and then Monday through Friday again next week. So it'll be interesting to see how much stitching I have next week. But anyway, like I said in my last video, it seems like the stitching and haul are inverse properties. Because last week I had a lot of haul, this week, and not a lot of stitching. This week I have 0 haul, but 1 swap, and a fair amount of stitching. In total, I've got 180. A little over 1,000 stitches. About 1,050 stitches. Sorry. Not great fast math. Trying to do that Common Core math, and I'm still slow at it. Haven't learned it yet. I'm learning it with my son as he learns it. Some things are good. Some things are really, really bad. We actually had our conference with his teacher this afternoon, and it went well. Talked about some of the Common Core that we had issue with, and she was like, yeah, the things that you're having issues with, we kind of have issues with. And I was like, okay, as long as it's not just me, I'm good. Anyway, for the most part, I can see where they're going with it, but not this last lesson. That is one heck of a rabbit hole. Back to the stitching. Like I said, I worked on a lot of my stitching, and I do have one gift to show. There is going to be crinkling just because of the way it has to be stored. So Magical Stitches last week, I finished up my birth sampler. Not finished the birth sampler. I finished up 50 stitches on the birth sampler. That was for, how were we working on the birth sampler last week? Rings, I think, for Quidditch. I'm pretty sure that was it. And I don't have a picture of this from last week, unless I insert a still of the video, which I'm not gonna because it's just 50 stitches. So you're really not gonna notice that huge of a difference. Do I have something to put behind this? Because it's just 50 stitches. I put in the 50 stitches, got the 500 I think that I needed, and then was done with it. So this is where I am now. I did my 50 more stitches, and then I only need not a whole lot more, just a few more flowers, and I'll be finished for this thing. Cannot wait. My goal is, why didn't y'all tell me that I had floss stuck to the front? My goal is to have this thing finished by the end of the month, so that I can have it framed and shipped to her, or figure out how I'm going to get it to her. I don't know if I'll ship it or what. But there that is. I'm pretty sure they'll be coming here for her first birthday. Maybe I can go to the birthday and give it to her then. Who knows? Sorry, sip of coffee. This is a cup that my son made. So every year they have in art class, I do a thing called square art. And they do a picture on this thing, and the art teacher sends it off to the company, and then you can have it printed on different things. This is his first grade cup. So last year, this was his self-portrait. So every year I put it on a coffee cup. That way I always have some of his artwork. I have 3 so far. Pre-K first. Pre-K, kindergarten first. They just recently did it, so I haven't gotten the 2nd grade one yet. I'm interested to see what that one is. Anyway. Oh, we went to the fair this week. I'm surprised y'all didn't hear about us on the news. Funny story. Another rabbit hole, sorry. We went to the fair. He did great, except for one ride, which was the super slide. And he's ridden this slide for years, guys. He rode it when he was like 1 and 2 in our laps. He's ridden it at least once or twice on his own. We made the mistake of thinking that he could get on the little flour sack or potato sack or burlap pad that you go down the super slide on. And we got up to the top, and Scott and we were going to race. Me, Connor, and Scott. And we all 3 got up on, well, Scott and I got up on our pad, and Connor couldn't get up. Well, we didn't realize that that was his issue. We thought he was freaking out about riding the slide, period. So we were encouraging, trying to get him to go down the slide. He wouldn't go. My husband goes down the slide in an attempt to show him that it's not that bad, which that wasn't the issue. He knew the slide wasn't that bad. After everything de-escalated, we figured this out. So he went down the slide. Now he's at the bottom of the slide. I'm at the top with kids lining up. The gentleman behind me who was working the ride possibly didn't understand me, possibly didn't understand anybody that was speaking to him. I think there was a language barrier, or either he just didn't know what this frantic mom was saying. I'm not sure. But I asked him if Connor could ride in my lap, and he just nodded. He kind of nodded and shook his head, like really not a yes or a no, very non-committal. I tried to get Connor on my lap, but I couldn't. And because I couldn't get him up over the bar because he was afraid then I was going to fall, I couldn't get my tail end up off the slide because my feet were already engaged in the little overlap thing of the sack. And if I had stood up, I would have slid down the slide. Thought about rolling over, crawling off of the slide, but then I was like, no, because then I'll go down the slide backwards on my belly and smack my face on every one of these bumps all the way down, and that'll definitely traumatize the kid. So finally, I just went down the slide and left him up there to where I could then come around and come up the stairs and get him. But as I go down the slide, he then really flipped out. Oh my gosh, y'all, it was so bad. Once things calmed down, he finally explained that it wasn't the slide that he was afraid of. He was afraid to get onto he was afraid that the little burlap sack or pad would go before he was ready. It could all been averted if we had just put him on the side and gone down. But then he wouldn't try again. He wasn't going back up there. So next year we're going to conquer our fears and we're going to ride the slide. Anyway, sorry. So we went to the fair, had a blast. It was crazy. It was hot. Not as crowded as I was expecting, but hot. Anyway, now 10 minutes in, and a story about a cup and a fair. Let me continue my stitching. The next thing that I worked on was Rosewood Manor. That was actually the next thing I worked on was Summer Jubilee. And I worked on it for Blackbird Designs, which starts with a B, and for being a beater. This is from Just Cross Stitch August 2003. It's a Blackbird Design Summer Jubilee. That is what it will look like when it's finished. This is a sow that I'm doing with Connie and I. We have so many sows going. We've got Anne, this one, spoiler alert, we might have more soon. So I'm working this on, makes me sad. Fabrics by LJ. Guys, he's closing down. He's shut down his business. He's not making fabrics anymore. And that makes me so sad because his fabrics were amazing. And I stitched 408 stitches on this to finish out my border. I'm just going to hold it up. Again, I ended up wasting fabric. I think I could have stitched this way, but I wouldn't have had a lot of room to frame. See the zigzag border? Yeah, it's in here. You can see it. That's what I worked on this time. And my borders matched up the first time. Yay, guys. And this, like I said, is stitched on this LJ fabric that you can no longer get. And I have kitted it up with mostly color and cotton. There are a couple. There's a cranberry gast. And I think a wig style works in here. But most of them are color and cotton. I might be a little bit ahead on this one. Ahead of Connie on this one. She's laid the gauntlet down, guys. She's telling me we have to finish and by the end of the month. So that means I want to finish. I should have 2 finishes by the end of the month. That makes me a little nervous. I may have to back out on this one, but I can't because the bird. I have to have 2 finishes by the end of the month. The next thing that I worked on was Nightmare for something that was hard to get. And I used Nightmare because, oh, it's over there. So anyway, I used Nightmare. I took it out of my to put on flosstube video box because I was going to work on it. For something that was hard to get. And I did this one because I had a hard time getting this pattern. I wanted it and couldn't find it. However, Gary contacted me and gave me some information about a store that has it. So if you're looking for this pattern and can't find it, contact me and I can give you the information that Gary gave me, or contact Gary and he can give you the information. You're welcome, Gary. I volunteered you for that. But this is what it looks like when it's finished. This is the one that I adopted from Emily, and I took over from her stitching, and this is where it was when I got the pattern or the project. And I will show you where I am now. This is stitched on a piece of Nina's Threads fabric called Locust, also in Nina's thread called Bourbon. Anything white, I'll show you. Yeah, here we go. Grab a white card. And then a Dinky Dyes thread called Ocean Pines. I think that works better than my white card does. I think my white card's too dented up. It's got depth and grooves. And this is where I currently am. I only put in 210 stitches on this, so not a lot of progress. I'll show you where it is. You might be able to tell because our stitches are so different. Hers are so dainty and pretty, and mine are like just huge and weird looking. I don't know. To me, I can tell a big difference in the two. Everybody else says they can't. So this is where I currently am now. My stitches are over here in the side. So the only issue that I'm having with this project is that I'm having to stitch, this is right side up. I'm having to stitch it like this because I am one of the weird ones that I stitch essentially top left to bottom right, or bottom right to top left first. And then I do the top right to the bottom left. So, because I read left to right, I go left to right first and then back the opposite way. And so I have to turn it, which is fine, except I'm a little worried that because when I turn it and I stitch back and forth with a variation, my variation is going this way and her variation was going this way. I don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Right now it is kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, but I think we'll be okay. Is that close enough to see it? I feel kind of scattered today. I've been kind of scattered today. Poor Connie had to put up with me too. So then the next thing I worked on was Rosewood Manor, and I used on this for Jealousy in Harry Potter Magical Stitches for the A, because it had to be the design name, and I used it for the A in Jealousy, Autumn Quakers. I stitched 305 stitches on this. This is where I was before. I know you guys know what it will look like when it's finished, but just in case, I'll go ahead and insert a picture of that as well. And I moved on kind of to the next page, just kind of half the page. I'm almost finished with the motif that never ends. I've just got to go and put the one little stitch in the middle of the flowers. And then I worked on this. This is the all over. And I worked on, I don't know why the camera feels so much farther away today. I worked on this motif here. There we go, that feels more comfortable. and then all over. And then I worked on that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects, guys. I actually did a good amount of work this week in my videos. Oh wait, never mind. I was supposed to say my video is shorter. That's because I had to stop it and start it over. Oh, it's been a day. The next thing I worked on was Green Damsel by Ink Circles, and this is what it looks like when it's finished. You guys have seen this several times. I am doing this on 28 or 36 count Oaken. I think it's 36 count Oaken. It is kitted up in 2 coloring cottons and then 1 of the Victorian Motto thread sampler. Victoria. Yeah. This is where I currently am. I've stitched 180 stitches on it. I need to do 300 before I move on to the next project. So 120 more stitches. So this is for water, for magical stitches, because dragonflies are always around bodies of water. I'm also using this because I am in the Semi-Sane Stitchers Halloween retreat. So I've stitched 100 stitches. 50 of my stitches were on the Roads with Manor because I can, use both for both groups. And then that was to check in. And now I've done 100 to meet the first person, Amanda Bobbiner. And now I'm stitching another 100 to meet Ada Von Count. She's not liking me. She's distracting me with all of her stash and making me not get my 100 stitches in. Actually, did I get hers in yet? No, I've only done... Today was a distractible day. I think I've put in like maybe 60 stitches. I got 40 more. That's all I've put in all day. 60 stitches. And then that's it as far as progress goes. I went to the post office today, shipped some stuff. And then I went to get my dog's nails done. It's been a crazy day. And then I had a conference. And I got to hang out with Connie, though, because she's a very gracious friend and actually went and did my errands with me. So, my gift/swap was from Half Stitch Cross Stitch, Miss Dina. I don't know if she shared her last name, so I'm going to cover it up. Guys, I love. So, the funny thing is this is one of my favorite pictures. And I've looked and looked for this image as a cross stitch pattern, and then I had it custom made. I never started it, and then they came out with a kit with it. I have this kitted up, well, not kit up, but I have this project in my stash for whenever I get Froggy want to start it, because I love this. And then she sent it as a card, so this is gonna be displayed in my room. But I sent her swap, and I literally wrote on the envelope, because I'm not as southern as she is, and I don't have my own stationery. Bless my heart. Oh, anyway, so I sent her a small ornament that has been passed from Kelly, from somebody that I don't know. I don't know if they make flosstube. But then it went to Shelly KX Stitch, then it went to Connie, then it went to me, now it's going to Dina. And then she'll pass it along too. I don't know if she'll do a pass the stash or if there's somebody that she's got in mind to stash it, pass it. But we've left a list inside for everybody that gets it. And then I also sent her, I had another copy of the Christmas, the Stony Creek Christmas that I gave away. By the way, my winner got in touch with me. I have her address. I should be shipping that either tomorrow or Monday, depending on how things go. Tomorrow will be my anniversary, my 11-year anniversary with my husband. So I don't know what he has planned. He won't tell me a lot. We'll see. He could surprise me and have nothing planned. I doubt that. But anyway, So I don't know when I'll ship it. It'll either be tomorrow with, you know, before my son goes to my in-laws house, or either Monday when I get off work. But anyway, I had another copy that I had kind of thought about possibly stitching something in, but I wasn't sure. And when I saw that she had mentioned that she was interested in the giveaway and that she didn't win, I shared my extra copy with her, because I seriously doubt that I'll stitch anything in that. As cute as it is, I have to be realistic. I mean, guys, I've got so many patterns, so I passed it along, shared the love, and I know that Dina is gracious enough that if I told her and said, hey, I really want to stitch this pattern out of that she'd be more than welcome to let me, or more than happy to let me borrow it. So I did go ahead and pass it along. I'm trying to be realistic. I even listed stuff on Stash and Load. So anyway, this is what she passed to me. Because if you send Stash out, you gotta have Stash come in. This is Flowers of the Holy Night by Glendon Place. Guys, this is amazing. This is not one that I would have stitched until I saw her stitching it, and I fell in love, and I cannot wait to start this. If I didn't have so many Christmas things and so many whips, I may go ahead and start it now, but I'm not gonna, because I have to be good. And not only did she send me the pattern, but she had leftovers of the flosses, so I could technically start it. She sent me some of the silks, the Dinky Dye silks that she didn't have to do. I didn't know if there were this many colors in it, but there are. I don't know why I'm showing you the colors. Y'all really don't necessarily care, but I'm just showing you how many there were. And that was almost tragic. I almost spilled these. The beads that go along with it. I'm sure I'll have to get some extras of the flosses. I don't think I'll have to get extra of these beads because they're almost full packs. Whatever I don't use, I'm going to send back to her. That way she can add it to her collection. I have a feeling she just shook, if she's watching my video, that she just shook her head no. But there, I mean, all the beads and even the one charm that is required. That is the back side. Let me show you the front side. That is required for it, because apparently it comes with two, and she had an extra charm. So she gifted me with that. And then the last thing, I did have one piece of haul. I forgot. I got some needle minders. Two of them, no, one of them was a gift, and then I got this one for me. Perfect for Halloween because it's Jack the Pumpkin King. So he's going to go on my whip now that I've shown it to you guys. Because I did the whole, you know, don't use it until you show it thing. But there that is. And the last thing that I'm going to share with you. Because I don't know if I've shown this on a video before. I feel like I have. If I have, I apologize. Just bear with me. And I know everybody's been showing some of their previous finishes. I thought that I would show a previous finish that is not mine, but it hangs up in my house. Let's see if I can do this without breaking myself or it. So this is dusty. This also gives me the opportunity to clean it. This is not awkward at all. So this is one that my aunt stitched many years ago. It was a gift to her from my parents. There's a horrible glare. Went completely black there for a second. There we go. And my parents gifted her all of the supply, the pattern, the fabric, and all the supplies back in for a birthday in the 70s and near 80s. And she worked on this for as long as I can remember. She would stitch for a while, then it would go away, and then she would stitch for a while, and then it would go away. And I think watching her with her stitching is part of what made me want to become a stitcher. And I tried several times with several failed attempts, and then I got hooked. But she passed before she could finish it. That is all that she needed. Hey, look, there's a reflection. To finish it was that little bitty, it's a 20 by 20 square. And I did have the pattern, and I debated finishing it myself. I was a very new stitcher when I had this framed. And I debated it finishing it myself, but I was afraid that it would be obvious, or that we wouldn't, because I didn't have the threads. I had the pattern, and like I said, these threads were from the 70s. So I was afraid there would be a dye lot issue, or our attention would be different because I was a brand new stitcher. And it, to be honest, even though it was just a 20 by 20 square, it intimidated the heck out of me. So instead, as you can see, I just did a box, a batch 6 box, and put her initials on it. And this hangs up in our house as a way as a tribute to her. And my husband's co-worker stitched this for me. Or not stitched. Framed this for me. He's no longer doing framing, to my misfortune, because he would give us employee co-worker discounts. Guys, I think I paid less than $300 to have that framed. And that's with a double mat. So he gave me an incredible, incredible discount. But that hangs up in the house. It moves from time to time. Lori, I think it was last time when she was here, or somebody, was it Lori that joked that every time she's here our pictures are in a different place because we just randomly move them? Apparently we don't clean them when we move them. This will be cleaned before it's put back up. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Sure that's everything I needed to mention. Yep, that is. I will continue the stitching next week. Hopefully I'll come back with this much progress. My plans are to stitch somehow tonight to make Anne fit into my Magical Stitches homework. And I can definitely easily make it fit into the Halloween retreat in Semi-Sane. Sorry, I almost fell out of my chair. I almost fell out of Lori's chair. Semi-Sane, because it's just 100, I have to stitch 100 stitches for each person at the retreat. For each member at the retreat. Anyway. And I've got to try to get Anne to fit into Magical Stitches the last 2 prompts. So that I can meet Connie's challenge and finish Anne this month, hopefully. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking your time to make comments and liking the video and subscribing. Take care, guys, and happy stitching.